Okay, welcome back. This is Coach Frank with chesscoach.net. That's chess-coach.net. Thanks for following us on Twitter at chesscoach. Today's game, we will be going over, this is a miniature, but I want to highlight one of the areas that I often hear students complaining about. And that is, what do you do when your opponent does not play a book move? We spend all this time trying to learn and understand and memorize in some cases what the book response is to various openings. But when a player deviates from our preparation, some students, some players get lost in how to handle the response. And I would argue that that is when the game gets rich, because the moment that your player, your opponent, starts making moves that deviate from what is called book theory, the playing field is ripe for tactical ideas as well as new chess and possibly even new theory. So let's go ahead and look into this game. I've got the white pieces here, and it's another Sicilian. Actually, yeah, it's another Sicilian. This one, I think, is a Najdorf. So anyway, e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4. This is all book. cd, knight captures, knight f6, knight c3, a6, and now bishop g5. We're going into a Najdorf line. He plays e6, f4, queen c7, queen f3. You'll see this a lot. This is pretty standard chess. We're 8 moves in. There's nothing spectacular really going on. My opponent played b5. I played a3 because I have some ideas that I've been playing around with, and those ideas include sacking on the e6 square with my light square bishop eventually. And in order to pull that off, I need to hold the e4 pawn a little bit longer than I normally do. So I'm trying to keep him from playing b4 and making my knight move. So he does go ahead and play knight d7. I like that move for my sack because it cuts off communication between the bishop and the e6 square. And now I play g3. Normally I would play g4, but I play g3, and I think this is still book in some lines. The position is still fairly equal. He plays bishop b7, double attacking my e4 pawn, which highlights, my previous point about playing a3 earlier. Had I played some other moves, he would be able to play b4 on the next move and really squeeze the e4 pawn. So now I play bishop h3. Now, here is the first opportunity for us to discuss what we would call a non-book move. Bishop h3 is book, but not in this position, because in this exact position, had my opponent been paying attention, there's some tactics available here. And I believe those tactics start with simply knight captures e4. He's got 2 on it. I got 2 on it. But it's going to get hairy because I cannot defend this pawn. So let's just look into this as a variation. Knight captures. Knight recaptures. And this move is... No. Is that promising? Let me see. No, that's not the move. I'm sorry. Well, let's not do that. Let's see. How do we take advantage of this? Oh, knight c5. Just simply knight c5. Knight c5 is a problem. I know there's a way to pinch that pawn again. So white's basically in trouble here, because the pawn, the knight is double attacked on e4, both by the bishop and the knight, and the knight is pinned to the queen and indirectly the rook. So I basically have too many pieces on the white squares, and after all the fireworks, we still got to worry about the c2 pawn falling. and now in my bishop over here is just looking crazy. So, I can get into a world of hurt, had he gone into this line, but he did not. What he did do was play knight c5. I played bishop b. He played knight c5, triple attacking the e4 pawn, a pawn, by the way, that I was prepared to give up when I played bishop h3. So what did I do? I castle, and here he takes the pawn with the knight, and that's the correct knight, because had I not castled, I could have actually just played bishop takes, and that would have relieved some of the tension. And if I had been paying attention, this was a speed game, but I was just so grateful that he didn't pop this pawn right away the first time, that I thought about king safety, which is, what I encourage, getting your king safe before castling. I mean, getting your king safe before attacking anyway. So I missed that exchange. He captures with the knight. I don't recapture. I pull my rook over facing his king. Now this is very dangerous. This is, for all intents and purposes, you're starting a melee. This is kind of like death in the making, because first of all, he has just snatched a pawn. The queen is getting ready to get exposed. He can capture here or here. He can capture the knight on c3 or the bishop on g5 and expose the attack on my queen. So white is getting ready to dance, and if he takes the bishop on g5, the other bishop is hanging, which is what he did. So after knight captures, my queen is under attack, the bishop is under attack, and he took a piece. So I tried to get fancy. I hit his queen, and he took with the bishop. I play queen takes. Now he can't take my queen now because it's pinned. The king is pinning the pawn to the king. This is why the rook is there. So if you do the math, he's got a piece under attack, I've got a piece under attack, but I'm also attacking the rook. So this guy is under attack. There's some stuff going on here. He has to be careful. So he continued down his original path and took the bishop, which is not correct, because I get to take the rook with check first. The queen comes back and blocks because he still wants to reserve the right to castle. I check him again. He blocks again. And now I come back and hit the knight. And the purpose of that second check was I wanted to put the queen on the square where he would be harmless once I decided to leave the scene of the crime. Now in this position, white is already winning because he's up the exchange, and I'm threatening to just take this knight off the board. So it'll be two rooks and a knight versus a rook, a knight, and a bishop. So he plays e5, and I am ecstatic about this move, because what it does is it allows me to open up on that king, and he can't take back because I got a plethora of moves to respond with. So in this position, he actually resigned. He resigned, and I apologize about the phone ringing here. But he actually resigned in this position, and he resigned because if pawn takes pawn, I also have rook takes with check. We don't care what he blocks with. He can't block with the knight. If he blocks with the bishop, then let's see. I can make this queen have to see me. I'm X-raying on the queen right now. Let's see. The queen is under attack. The knight is under attack. The bishop is pinned to the king, and I've just cut off communication from this knight. So there's just, in this position, it's just the whole world is hanging. So he saw that, and it was enough. And this speaks to one of our original points, not necessarily on this video, but in past videos. Getting your king safe is important, and sometimes king safety might even be worth, some numerical value. One of the things that the computer definitely will not calculate in its point system, but I would argue having your king safe and having piece activity versus your opponent's king being unsafe and maybe having a material advantage may balance out. Again, this is Coach Frank. Thanks for watching. I apologize for that phone ringing during this video. Follow us on Twitter, Chess Coach, and we look forward to having you see our next video.